Hello, good afternoon. So today we're going to continue the discussion that we started earlier. In this series, we're going to talk about asset supply chain modeling. So this is the business of adding physical assets to your supply chain. This is in the era of inventory management. You want to define a product or a SKU at a site, and you want to begin to represent your objects. So in this example, so yesterday we created a demo site called United Safety Distributors. Initially, it shouldn't have much of anything in there. I only put about 25 items on there. So today I'm going to add a couple of more items on that particular site, and then we'll show how to onboard your items. So you go to the site. You can have multiple sites, and you can populate multiple inventories per site. So every single site is going to have its own dedicated, unique instance of inventory items. Okay. So you select your site, and then if you want to start to add items on there, you can introduce something called the bulk operations that allows to add a product by the product type, and then you can click on add or remove and the quantity, and you can specify your site. However, in this use case, I want to talk about how we would introduce items to the product, the master product table. So to do that, you go to new product, and I want to model. Let's say this organization wants to start to stock on cell phones for whatever reason, for their safety operations, and then they're going to be stocking Google phones, Samsung, and Apple. Again, this is just an example. You can use this to model any type of physical product class. So I would just quickly add these products on there. Manufacturer, again, it doesn't really matter. It could be the Pixel 1000. The unit price, maybe it runs for $299.99. And so this is going to define the actual phone. All right. So we'll save that. So once you save it, we should see the inventory class should go up to 15. So we're going to quickly add the next product. So what I have on my phone is Samsung Galaxy. So let's say we wanted to add Samsung Galaxy on there. This is a GU2000 Samsung. And let's say the price of this is $399. Okay, and then last but not the least, we're going to add the Apple phone. Okay, and let's say the price of this is $499. Okay, so we've introduced new items. So if you notice, initially we were at 15, and now we're up to 17 inventory classes. So if you come here, you can now search. We have the Apple, we have the Google phone, right? And then we have the Samsung. So now, how do we populate the inventory? So there's a couple of ways to do it. You can do it through the UI, and you click on the product item, and then you click on add inventory, right? And then once you do that, it'll ask you how many do you want to add. So let's say this is a supplier that's going to be stocking a lot. So let's say he got like a shipment of 100. And where do you want to put it? Now you select the site. So it's going to log that you've just received 100 of these items, and it's going to put it in your particular site. Okay. Okay. And then the same way for the other one, for the Google phone, you can also add. And the same way you can add, let's say this one had 125. And we want to add it to that site. So now if you come to your site, you should see those new items reflected, right? So this will automatically adjust the inventory. So if you look at what you have in your flow, it says we have 100 of these, we have 125 phones of Google, 100 of Samsung, and then the third category will be Apple. Okay, so let's add a couple of Apple phones on there. Let's try to use this workflow. So we have the Apple phone, and we want to do an ad, and then let's say we want to add 150 to the United Safety Distributors. So in this interface, you just click Merge Append. This allows you to add multiple products in one shot. So you click that. And so let's do the validation here. So if you go to the product, so now you should see things move around. Check the, so we have 150 phones of Apple, 125 for Google, and 100 for Samsung. Okay, so this will be useful for organizations that want to model inventory management. They want to begin to track the items that they have in different sites, different locations. Sometimes you want to move items from one place to the other, right? And so that's also possible. So we can set up something called a mover operation. So if you go into the site panel, you can initiate a transfer at the site level or at the product level. So if you come here, you click on site. If you do a bulk operation, this is used to add items to your stock. But if you want to move things around, basically you go to the product inventory. You select your item, and then if you want to do there's a button called transfer. So you can transfer multiple items from one site to another. So you click on transfer, you specify the product, the quantity that you want to transfer. Let's say I want to transfer 25. And then let's say I want to transfer to a different site. I want to transfer it to the Boston site. Well, the Boston site, but we originally had them here. If you try to transfer it from a site where it doesn't exist, it's going to throw an error. So for example, if you want to transfer that from here one place to the other, it'll give you an error saying that because you don't have it there. So we'll go back to the site, and then we'll select where we have it, and then we'll initiate the transfer there. So we want to move it from here to the Boston site, and then we want to add 25. So we want to transfer 25 items from the United Safety Distributors to the Boston site. So once you submit it, it should have been accepted. So if you go into the safety site, you should see it deplete a little. So we'll come here. So now we have 75 in the United Safety Distributor site. If you go to the alternate site, which was the Boston site, you should see the items pop up. So now we have 25 here, right? So we have 25 here, and then the other site we have $75. Initially we started out with 100, so 75 plus 25 equals 100. So you can use this to manage moving your inventory from one place to another. You can also introduce items in bulk, right? And you can also delete items as well. So I think I'll stop there for this demo. In the next demo, we'll probably talk about how we use a solution to manage customer orders or customer requests. It could be a service request, IT request, it could be a physical asset request. And then you can set up a workflow to handle that order request all the way from the request phase to the processing phase, all the way to fulfillment phase. So thank you so much for your time. Really enjoying these demos, and you have a wonderful day. Cheers. Bye.